Hello and welcome. Today we are diving deep into the world of authentic Italian pasta. And let me tell you, these aren't just suggestions or friendly tips. For many, they're commandments set in stone. We're going to deconstruct the techniques that take a pasta dish from just good to truly unforgettable. And we're going to start with a question that causes a lot of arguments.
Yep, we're jumping right into the deep end with this one. It's probably started 1,000 fights on the internet and in kitchens everywhere. Does a real, authentic carbonara actually use cream? Well, the short answer is a passionate, almost aggressive no. But the why? The why behind that answer tells you everything you need to know about the entire philosophy of Italian cooking.
You know, this quote just nails it. It's not just about recipes, it's a doctrine. A lot of these dishes came from what's called cucina povera, literally poor people's cooking. The whole idea was to take a few simple but very high-quality ingredients and use them absolutely perfectly. So when we talk about breaking a rule, like adding cream to carbonara, it's not just a different taste preference. To a lot of people, that's culinary heresy.
Okay, so before we even think about a single sauce, we have to get the pasta itself right. This is the bedrock, the foundation of everything. Let's call them the 4 al dente commandments. These are the absolute non-negotiables for cooking pretty much any dried pasta the right way.
First up, salt your water. And I don't mean just a little pinch. The water should taste like the sea. This is your one and only chance to season the actual pasta from the inside out. Second, and this is maybe the most important rule of all, save a cup of that starchy pasta water before you drain it. We'll get back to why it's basically liquid gold. Third, whatever you do not put oil in the water. All that does is make the pasta greasy and slippery, and the sauce will just slide right off. And finally, cook it al dente. This means you pull it out of the water a minute, maybe even 2, before the box tells you to. Why? Because the pasta's gonna finish cooking in the sauce, soaking up all that amazing flavor. All right, with those commandments fresh in our minds, let's tackle what might be the most misunderstood, most incorrectly made pasta dish on the planet, carbonara. It's a true Roman icon, a masterpiece of simplicity, but boy, do its secrets get lost in translation. Just look at this ingredient list. It's so short. The star of the show is guanciale, cured pork cheek. It is not bacon. It is not pancetta. It has this incredible, intense flavor all its own. Then you've got rich egg yolks, sharp and salty pecorino romano cheese, and a ton of freshly cracked black pepper. Now notice what's missing. What's not on the list? That's right. Absolutely no cream. The creaminess in a true carbonara comes from technique, not from a carton. Okay, so here's the magic trick. You cook your pasta, you fry that guanciale until it's crispy, and then you do the most important step of all. You take the pan completely off the heat. This is the secret. Then you toss that hot pasta in the rendered pork fat and immediately, and I mean immediately, pour in your egg and cheese mix. You stir like crazy, adding a little splash of that starchy pasta water. The residual heat from the pan and the pasta is just enough to cook the egg into a silky, velvety sauce without ever scrambling it. That's it. That's the whole secret. And this is just such a perfect example of that Roman food philosophy, right? A few perfect ingredients plus flawless technique. And you see that same exact logic in Rome's other famous pasta dishes. They all build on these very same ideas. So on one side, you've got Amatriciana. Think of it as carbonara's spicy cousin. It uses that same delicious guanciale and pecorino, but it swaps out the rich egg for bright, vibrant tomato and a little kick of chili. And on the other side, you have Cacio e Pepe, which literally just means cheese and pepper. It strips away everything else. No meat, no tomato. The entire sauce is made from just those two things and, you guessed it, the starchy pasta water. And that's exactly why so many people say Cacio e Pepe is the ultimate test of a chef's skill. With only 3 ingredients, there is literally nowhere to hide. If you can create a perfectly creamy, silky sauce from just cheese, pepper, and water, it proves you've truly mastered the fundamental technique that underpins all great Italian pasta. But hey, these principles aren't just for Rome. As we travel around Italy, from the sunny south in Sicily all the way up to the rich heartlands of the north, we see the same rules over and over: simplicity, quality ingredients, and technique, just applied in new and delicious ways. Let's take pasta alla Norma, for example. It's this incredible vegetarian masterpiece from Catania in Sicily. It's this beautiful, perfect marriage of sweet tomato sauce, savory fried eggplant, and the totally unique flavor of ricotta salata. That's a kind of hard, salty ricotta cheese that gets grated over the top like a snowy cap on a volcano, a little nod to Sicily's famous Mount Etna.
Okay, time for another major myth buster. The dish that most of the world calls spaghetti bolognese, it simply doesn't exist in Italy. The real, authentic dish from the city of Bologna is tagliatelle al ragù. And the logic is actually super simple. A heavy, rich, meaty sauce like ragù needs a wide, flat pasta like tagliatelle that can really grab onto it. Thin little spaghetti just can't handle the job. And that ragù? It's not a 30-minute weeknight sauce. Oh, no. It demands patience. A true, authentic ragù from Bologna has to simmer for a bare minimum of 3 hours. It's that long, slow cooking that develops those incredibly deep, complex flavors as all the meats and vegetables just melt and meld together.
So we've seen how carbonara gets creamy without any cream. We've seen how Cacio Pepe makes a sauce out of basically thin air. Now let's talk about the one secret, the one special ingredient that connects every single one of these dishes. Let's talk about the secret of the liquid gold. The magic word here is emulsification. This is the actual science behind all that creaminess. You see, the starch that the pasta releases into the cooking water, it acts like a binder, like a glue. It allows the fat in the dish, whether that's from the guanciale or the cheese or olive oil, to combine with the water, creating a smooth, stable, beautiful sauce that coats every single piece of pasta, instead of just being a greasy, separated mess at the bottom of the bowl. And that brings us to what is without a doubt the single most important takeaway from this entire explainer. If you remember one thing, make it this. Never, ever throw away all of your pasta water. It really is liquid gold. It's not just leftover water, it is a key ingredient. It seasons, it thickens, and it brings your entire sauce together. It is the secret weapon of every great Italian cook. You know, when you see it all laid out like this, you can really spot the patterns, can't you? Look at how those 3 classic Roman dishes all share that sharp pecorino cheese as their backbone. But by changing just one key element, swapping egg for tomato or taking out the meat entirely, you end up with 3 totally different, totally unique dishes. It's just a masterclass in how small changes, guided by perfect technique, can create such incredible variety. See, the rules of Italian pasta aren't there to hold you back. They're there to set you free. They're there to help you create the absolute best, most delicious version of these classic dishes. So now that you know the secrets, you know the commandments, the techniques, and the magic of that liquid gold, the only question left is, which one of these masterpieces are you going to cook first?